Welcome on in, race fans, to this evening's event here in the All-American Racing League. We are out in the Irish Hills of Michigan for race number 9 on the calendar. Through 8 races so far, we have seen 8 different winners on the season. Is today the day that it finally changes? We're going to find out in about 100 laps time, but as always, or not as always, I should say, as occasionally here on Saturdays, joining me today is my co-host, Tom Richter. How's it going, Tom?
Arie, good evening to you and happy Saturday to you as drivers make their way out to the Irish Hills of Michigan. We got about 23 drivers out on track right now, and Michigan is kind of a place that a lot of drivers have grown to love, as it is a difficult place to pass, and certainly provides challenges that we're going to see here tonight.
Absolutely is. One thing that I've seen from the practice sessions so far, watching these drivers make their laps around the very wide, what do we call it, 7-8 lane track, maybe on a straightaway, but watching them make their way through the corners, particularly out of turn 2, is going to be the trouble spot tonight. These cars get so loose out of the rear end. These drivers have been talking about the car being tight, being loose, being tight again, being loose again throughout the corners each time, and as the tires wear, it sounds like passing is going to become more and more difficult. So tonight is really going to be a test of patience and resilience.
It certainly will, as we're following the closing laps of practice out here. Just about 30 seconds or so remaining out in practice, and we're going to see drivers take to qualifying here for the first time. Let's take a look at the practice boards. Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose at the top of the charts as practice comes to a conclusion.
Jamie Walker, of course, walking away with the victory last week in Rockingham. However, it could have very much gone a different direction. Cody Gibson had it wrapped up, had it in the bag, was looking to break the streak of first-time winners, but come into the white flag, of course. The number 7 plowed into the wall and gave it away in the closing moments. Jamie Walker scores that win, first on the season, and now we watch Gabriel Ngoli in the 55, gonna head back out there on track in that Ford Mustang and see what kind of a time he can put down in that Buzz Inc. machine.
Gabriel Ngoli brings that 55 around the apron, and would imagine that we're probably going to see him run on the outside of turn 3, try to make the radius as wide as possible here at Michigan and try to keep those RPMs up as he's going to come across the start-finish line, the first of 23 drivers.
Coming out of turn 4, got that machine up to speed, and one thing I'm curious to see is if it's going to be lap 1 or lap 2 that these drivers make the one to count. If I had to guess, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be lap 2 once you get the tires warmed up here, but given the handling circumstances around a track like Michigan, you never quite know.
He's going to get a little sideways in the entry to 1 and 2 as he fights that 55 on the exit of 2. Still looking for some speed as he's going to race down on the backstretch here. Nolan Milnes, Cody Gibson, Ryan Rose, Larry Bell, Jamie Walker, and more in a qualifying session.
We're going to watch Gabriel Ngoli in the 55 make his way to the line off of turn 4 here. Going to bring that Ford Mustang down the front straightaway. We'll see what kind of a time Ngoli can put up there. And as he does, we're going to swap over to the 50. There's something that I heard in practice here, Tom, and that's that Samuel Garcia in the 50 is in the middle of participating in the Daytona 24 Hours as we speak. He has done a stint or 2 already, and he has to do more after this race. He has got one busy night.
The Daytona 24 is not for the weak, as you and I are familiar with that. We participated in our own, so hats off to Sam Garcia for doing that. That would certainly puts him on a tight schedule out here. Cannot afford any delays for his shifts.
Absolutely, and that is going to be a lot of racing in one night. Garcia's going to put it P5 with that lap right there. We got a bunch of other drivers on track as well. Josh Kanata in 16 heading down the back straightaway for the final time. Going to see where he can put that Toyota Supra.
Josh Kanata runs about the middle lane of turns 3 and 4 right here, and he's going to carry the momentum as he is completing his second lap on the board here, as we're going to look and see where he slots in. Josh Kanata going to go up to 6th place in his second lap.
Back on board with Garcia here across the line for the final time. Driver 50 is going to be able to put that machine right where he sits. P8 still at the moment. Looking for other drivers who are on track. We can jump back with Brian Troy. Maybe not. Brian Troy's pulling over on the back straightaway. We got Matthew Pavlik in the 30, going to get a little sideways off of turn 2.
Big time loose for that Camaro on the exit of turn number 2, and that is on his first time lap. So first lap on the board for him was good enough for 18th, and second one got to be hard to think that it's going to be an improvement here with that slide, but he is still carrying that 30 Chevy Camaro out of turn 4.
That he is, and across the line, tonight's race sponsor, Pavlik in the 30. It's going to bring that car to the line, sits P18 with that run right there. Jamie Walker jumps up to P5. Just missed him cross of the line right there. Brand new number, the 88 for Jamie Walker this time by. And now Chris Carroll in the 51. Missed opportunity last week. Had the fastest car at times. What can he do across the line? That 51 car is going to put himself P6 on the board. And it looks like that is everybody out on track. All right. Gotta fix a little camera thing here. Bear with me.
Only a couple of other drivers out on track right now. Everybody has completed their full 2-lap qualifying. Alex Fuller, one of the only other drivers, currently doing some additional qualifying laps here as qualifying is coming to a close. But it looks like it's going to be Cody Gibson and Ryan Rose starting from the front row.
All right, qualifying just now wrapping up. And with that, we can set ourselves on over to the race session. Looks like Cody Gibson, driver of the 7. Unfinished business from last week, the win that got away. Going to start us out with a pole here tonight in Michigan. And that track position is going to be oh so important out here tonight. It's going to be very difficult to pass. Though as the race leader, you're going to be under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of slipstreaming, a lot of draft games going on throughout the course of any race here in Michigan.
We're going to wait for the field of 23 drivers to line up behind the iRacing.com pace car. And, well, I tell you what, in the meantime, let's take a look at the starting lineup from tonight's race. Cody Gibson going to be starting on the front row with Ryan Rose to his outside. Nolan Milnes is going to be starting third with the top 5 rounded out by Nick Crawford and Jamie Walker. Chris Carroll starts 6th out here. Alex Fuller rounds out the top 7. Joshua O'Brien, Christopher Norris, and Joshua Kanata is the top 10.
In 11th, it's going to be Samuel Garcia ahead of Zachary Wake in P12. Stoney Benfield starts off in P13. Jackson West in 14th. Newcomer Aaron Balkover is going to start us off in 15th ahead of Gabriel Ngoli in 16th. 17th is going to be Mark Arthur, followed by Caleb West in 18th. And the top 20 is rounded out by Larry Bell and Tanner Marr.
Our field of 23 is brought home by Matthew Pavlik in that number 30, Shane Johnson in the 2, and Brian Troy in the 27 out here tonight behind the iRacing.com pace car. And Arie, this is kind of a home track for you. We'll see if anybody is able to take a home field advantage and find victory lane out here tonight. Stage 1 going to be 20 laps, stage 2 30 laps to bring us to lap number 50, and then finally our conclusion of the race at lap number 100.
Home track indeed. I have been to more races here in person than I can count. Got some great views, great track to go visit in person. Not one of my favorites to race, as a matter of fact. It's probably in my bottom 5 in terms of preferred tracks to race on for whatever reason. But either way, we're going to get rolling right here as Cody Gibson and Ryan Rose make up row number 1. Both winners on the season already up to this point. Cody Gibson in Dover and Ryan Rose in Richmond. Let's not forget, Ryan Rose had led every single lap in that race at Richmond. The first and only time thus far it's ever happened in the All-American Racing League. On row 2, we've got a couple of hungry names, Nick Crawford and Nolan Milnes. Tom, those are 2 drivers that could very well go out and win on any given week, and yet both of them are still sitting winless.
Yeah, and the All-American Racing League has proven a lot of versatility through their opening of their season with no repeat winners through the beginning of their season here. Cody Gibson looks to take another one out here tonight. Ryan Rose, Nick Crawford, Nolan Milnes, all these drivers getting set to go racing. Who's it going to be? Or is it going to be another first-time winner? Or will we see maybe like somebody like Alex Fuller get up there and snag away a win here tonight?
I'm excited to find out. Before we get rolling, I want to shout out tonight's sponsor. Tonight, we're racing the Patrick Pierce Memorial 200 Suicide Prevention Awareness. So keep that family in your mind and anyone out there struggling with it. Thank you, Matthew Pavlik, for sponsoring tonight's event with such a good cause. Pace car is off, and Cody Gibson is going to lead us to the green flag for the first time tonight.
We're going to see 3, 4, and maybe even at times 5 wide racing out here tonight. Cody Gibson on the loud pedal across the start-finish line. He's going to bring us down into turn number 1. He's got help from the inside of Milnes, pushing him on the inside. Ryan Rose up on the outside is side by side with row number 2 with for battle for second.
Battle for second on back is on. Cody Gibson's the only car clear on track at the moment. Everyone 2 by 2 all the way back, trying to slip into where they want to be running into the draft. High, low, where are you going to go into turn 3?
Cody Gibson takes a look up on the outside, and now Nolan Milnes on the inside. This is something that we spoke about earlier, Arie. The drivers here, very difficult to pass on the inside, so while you have the opportunity with the good on the Goodyear, try and make the pass down here, but Ryan Rose in danger of losing a couple of spots here if he can't slot up.
Absolutely, and Ryan Rose is going to clear here out of turn number 2, going to slide up the track, bring Nick Crawford in the 74 along with him down that high side. Milnes is going to drop a couple of spots. That's something these drivers are going to have to be very careful about. You see Crawford going to the inside. If you're going to look to the inside of another driver, Tom, you have to make that move stick. It is very easy to get freight trained around the outside here at Michigan. Pretty opposite to what you might see at a track like Martinsville, where you got to, avoid the high side. It's really interesting how it works at such a big track like this that you could get freight trained so easily.
Yeah, and you really have one opportunity to do it in the hole that you see. Maybe taking a look at Christopher Norris here, that hole that you see that you go for, you're going to have one opportunity to get there and to clear your vehicle there before that spot fills up as everybody lines up on the outside. We got about the top 12 running single file across the outside retaining wall. First driver on the inside, you got the 16th, Joshua Kanata. He is fighting Sam Garcia up on the outside. Kanata's got some help with Jackson West.
I tell you what, Tom, one of my favorite parts about racing at Michigan is just how single file everyone is on the straightaways, just to dive into the corner, and it looks at times like we're 4, 5, 6 wide because everyone's got a different line that they're running.
Well, that's one of the fun things about Michigan is it does allow for multiple different grooves, and we're going to see those all night tonight, whether it's on that white line all the way down on the inside of the curve, whether it's the middle line or whether you use the momentum of the outside lane. A lot of versatility for these drivers as Nick Crawford takes a look underneath the 7 of Cody Gibson. Does Crawford slide up? He may have the opportunity to, on the off the exit of 4, put Crawford to the lead at the start-finish line.
Nick Crawford in the 74 going to take over the race lead here in Michigan. 1 lap led on the board, the 74, looking for his first win on the season. A driver more than capable of doing so. A driver who's missed a couple of races so far this season, more than he would have liked to up to this point, but he's going to hit the ground running here in Michigan. Did a lot of practicing earlier in the session. I was watching, I was hanging out in the call with those guys, and he seems to be ready. He seems to be prepared very well for tonight's event.
That super goes to the point as we slot back here just a little bit. Joshua O'Brien has made his way around Nolan Milnes. Nolan Milnes kind of going backwards here in the opening laps. Started a 3rd out here tonight, currently runs 8th. Maybe got caught up on the inside line here, maybe saving a little bit of tires here, but nonetheless running in the back half of the top 10 as they run right now.
Scooby-Doo Machine report, as you know I love. We got the 45 of Alex Fuller running in P9 at the moment, battling Zachary Wake in the 39. And I heard something in practice. Apparently, Josh Kanata's only got 1 goal tonight, and it's to beat Zachary Wake for, I don't know what the story is on that one, but Zachary Wake 1 position ahead of the 16 of Kanata, so we'll keep our eyes on that battle as well.
Well, I do know that they're doing some sort of in-season tournament out here tonight. I heard Race Control saying the drivers that were going up against each other, Arie. But, I mean, it could just be a fun little a fun little challenge. It is always fun to have that one driver that you really enjoy racing around, and you set your goal out there to come across the start-finish line at the end of the night before them. But up front, it is Nick Crawford. He has about a half a car length lead over second place Cody Gibson, and then about 3/10 back before you find Christopher Norris.
Looks like the field's starting to get a little spread out. We're about 6 laps into the run now. The tire wear is going to get to a point pretty quick here where you can start to feel it, and maybe even feel it enough that passing is going to become pretty difficult. We can see just how much Nick Crawford in the 74 is defending on that outside line, rim riding out of turn 4 right there. Gibson all over his rear bumper, but he's going to have to be careful, because if Gibson goes to the inside to make a move, Christopher Norris is right there to pounce.
Nick Crawford, Cody Gibson, Christopher Norris, top 3 running 3 different lines through the corner, with Nick Crawford up on the very outside lane there. That's a little bit higher than I would like to run, Arie, but the higher you can get without getting into the outside retaining wall, that's all the momentum that these drivers are going to have. Down these long straightaways here is now Cody Gibson slides up maybe a half a lane higher, and now he's going to have a little bit of a run down the front stretch. Jamie Walker takes a look onto the inside of the 78. Possible help from Chris Carroll.
We're going to see what Walker can do here down to the inside. 8 laps into a run. How is this going to play out on these tires? Does the high line have the advantage at this point? They very well may, as Ryan Rose is proving. He gets loose off of the corner, though, driving for all he's worth to keep Jamie Walker from getting this pass. But down into 3, Walker's going to have an opportunity to send it in deep.
Drivers know that stage points are being handed out as this time by. We're going to see halfway through stage 1 already. Stage 1, only the opening 20 laps out here, looking to get some valuable stage points to add to their season totals, as now Christopher Norris in that 38. The winner at Sonoma is going to take a look down onto the inside of Cody Gibson on the entry into turn 1 here.
Yeah, I tell you what, Christopher Norris went out there and kind of showed the field what's up at Sonoma, at our first and only road course up to this point of the season, and kind of stamped his name as a road course guy to watch out for. But I tell you what, Tom, one thing I've noticed is that since then, Christopher Norris is on a mission. It is not just road courses. That 38 car is a contender week in and week out at the ovals. He is quick, he has speed, he is not a one-trick pony, and he is here to win.
And that is what he's looking to do out here tonight, as he takes away second place from Cody Gibson. Thought he may have pulled the 88 of Walker around for a little bit of drafting help. That is not the case. Top 3 up on the top side is Crawford, Norris, and Gibson, with Jamie Walker looking to take third place away from Cody Gibson here. Does he have a spot to slide in up on the outside? Cody Gibson not going to let him do it on the exit of turn number 2, and we may be 3 wide for the race lead.
3 wide for the race lead. Crawford was drifting out of turn 2, loses all that momentum. He is going to drop 2, maybe 3 more spots. He's got that outside line to run that momentum. Walker to the inside, Norris in the middle. Here comes Carroll, here comes Gibson, here comes Rose, and all of a sudden we've got 6 cars for the race lead.
Under a blanket, that's how close they are as they come into the south end of the speedway. You got Jamie Walker on the inside, Christopher Carroll maybe taking a look on the inside to put us in another 3 wide spot for the race lead. Not going to be able to do it just yet. Norris on the outside, Walker on the inside.
Oh, big trouble! Big trouble! Multiple race leaders involved. Cody Gibson, Nick Crawford, and Chris Carroll. Significant damage to all 3, battling for the race lead. And we are going to need to take another look. My, oh my, Tom, what did we just witness?
This is Michigan racing at its absolute finest, as we're going to come off of turn number 2. You got Jamie Walker on the inside, Chris Carroll on the inside in row number 2. Let's take a look and see where this starts. We were mentioning Cody Gibson sideways, and there he is sideways in the middle. Chris Carroll, hard to see from this camera angle here, maybe comes up just a half a lane. Maybe Cody Gibson is already sliding, does come down into the inside lane. We're going to have to get another look, but Nolan Milne's involved, Zachary Wake involved, Aaron Backover, Cody Gibson, and more.
All right, let's get another look right here to your point. See if we can't get an aerial view from the Goodyear blimp up in the skies. Wow, that is a lot of big names getting some significant damage right there. And you can see Norris in the 38. He's sideways ahead. He gets through this. He gets sideways. The 7 gets sideways. It's almost like they went over the same patch of oil or something And that's just unfortunate. Gibson just loses it into the 51. Crawford's in the wrong spot. Milnes is in the wrong spot. Those guys, they didn't do anything wrong, nowhere to go. I'm curious as to what happens to Wake and to Fuller here. Wake is all the way down there and still gets hit. Fuller's trying to get checked up. He's going to get hit in the rear by, can't tell who that is. Can't read the number on that. The 24, perhaps. Looks like the 50 of Garcia is just going to sneak through as well. I want to get one more view. I know we're lingering on this replay, but I want to see what this looks like from on board driver number 7.
And you can see Christopher Norris, as you mentioned before, doing the exact same thing there, but they didn't have a car up on the outside, and Cody Gibson goes for a ride on the backstretch here. This is one of those incidents in racing, Arie, that it's hard to place blame, especially when you're racing that close, and Michigan provides that kind of racing.
It absolutely does, and I mean, just into turn 1 before that incident, we were calling 6 drivers for the race lead, and sometimes that's just how it goes. It's unfortunate that it's this early in the race, going for stage 1, but I think more than the stage points, Tom, more than anything, it's just the track position. It's so hard to pass here. It's so hard to get that track position and to keep it, and, you know, when these drivers see an opportunity, when they smell blood in the water, other drivers are getting loose, they're struggling, they want to capitalize.
One driver that was in the right position to get through that was Ryan Rose, was on the inside, got through there without any damage. Joshua Kanata has made his way up into the top 5, as well as Gabriel Ngoli, the biggest mover of the night so far in that 55, rounds out the top 5 as they run, as we see the yellow lights for the first time here this evening.
Drivers who have made a pit stop under this yellow: Shane Johnson, Tanner Marr, Joshua O'Brien. They were all on pit road for 4 tires, and a couple of them for some slight damage repairs. They are going to have a huge tire advantage over those ahead. We've got more drivers on pit road, but these are the drivers with some more significant damage. Crawford, Gibson, Milnes, Fuller, Wake, Bockover all have been on pit road for minutes, if 1 to 2 minutes, if not more. It looks like Chris Carroll may have brought that 51 machine back behind the wall due to damages there, and we'll see how these drivers can recover. It's still a long race, Tom, and at a track like Michigan, you never know what kind of pieces you can go pick up.
That is certainly correct. A couple of drivers making their way off of pit road in front of the iRacing.com pace car. A couple of drivers still sitting on pit road. Cody Gibson, Zachary Wake, Bockover, and Nick Crawford, former race leaders, still on pit road out here. Looks like Nolan Milnes and Alex Fuller were the drivers that were able to get off of pit road, as well, we're lined up and ready to do it again.
All right, let's circle around to the in-season tournament. To your point earlier, I totally missed that Kanata had to beat Zachary Wake. Well, I'll tell you what, that is looking significantly better for that matchup. Josh Kanata ahead of Zachary Wake. Other matchups with big implications here: Cody Gibson versus Joseph Klein. Now, the problem is Joseph Klein did not make it to tonight's event, so I think Gibson is going to breathe a sigh of relief. Nolan Milnes, Jamie Walker, that has implications. Milnes has damage. He's a lap down. Ryan Rose, Mark Arthur, that is the only unaffected matchup at the moment. Rose ahead, currently running in P3. That is all of our matchups remaining in the All-American Racing League in-season tournament.
Jamie Walker is going to be the control car for this upcoming restart here. Elects to take the inside lane, got Ryan Rose directly on the rear bumper of that Chevy Camaro. But up on the outside, it's a Mustang followed by a Supra with Christopher Norris and Joshua Kanata. We're into the restart zone. Green flag is out. A lot of wheel spin across the field, but we stay green across the start-finish line.
Certainly a lot of wheel spin to be had right there. A lot of old tires going on. I have got my eyes glued on the 4 car and the 2 car. You can even throw the 24 car in there. All drivers who are on brand new tires and didn't have the most damage out of that incident. We're going to see how quickly those guys can make their way through the field. We get off of turn 2 clean with all of the race leaders, but now that we're up to speed on these older tires, just how loose is it going to be?
Jamie Walker has been able to establish the race lead by about 2, maybe 3 car lanes. Joshua Kanata, he's going to get up all the way up onto the outside. He's going to lose multiple spots through NASCAR turns 3 and 4 as we come across the start-finish line. It's Walker, Rose, and Norris here with 4 laps to go in the stage.
4 to go in the stage. Some big stage points up for grabs and track position leading into stage number 2. How is this going to fare for these drivers? Rose keeping it pinned on the right rear of the 38 car. He's going to get the momentum all the way down the back straightaway. We can even get a good view right here. Norris is going to have the opportunity to side draft that left rear. That's going to pull the 78 back in line with him just a little bit down into corner entry. Are they going to make contact? They are racing so close door to door through turns 3 and 4 right there, but all is fair. And Love and War off of the corner we go. Rose with the advantage, Norris with the draft.
Norris on the inside, Ryan Rose up on the outside. Jamie Walker working both lanes defensively with about a 4-car length difference here on the entry into turn number 1. Christopher Norris, he's going to slide that 38 Mustang and try to slide up in front of the 78, not able to do it. The 78 not able to clear him on the exit of turn number 2, but if these drivers don't get situated here before long, you're going to have Joshua Kanata up into the mix, and now they seem to file out. We're going to see 2 laps to go on the stage next time.
Watching from onboard race leader Jamie Walker in the 88, looking back at Ryan Rose in P2, Christopher Norris in 3. You can see the field fanning out just behind. Looks like we got some more battles to keep an eye on. We might be 3 wide. No, we're not. Mark Arthur in the 12, making his way up the field, up 10 positions from where he started tonight's event, looking to try and get around the 50 and the 55 of Goli and Garcia in reverse order there.
Stage 1 rapidly coming to a close out here tonight. Drivers with tires, Shane Johnson back in 12th. He is as high as they run right now. Joshua O'Brien, Tanner Marr 14th and 15th, respectively, as they come across. Perhaps just saving a little bit of tires here and not going to stop at the yellow flag. You got to think that maybe that's a thought here. They're racing 3 wide off of turn number 4 with Sam Garcia on the inside and Mark Arthur trying to take a spot away.
Josh Kanata got into the outside wall in 3 and 4. You can see how much of that cost him. Loses 3 positions, make it a 4th down into turn 1 just from that wall contact alone.
Ryan Rose has made his way around the 88 of Jamie Walker on the exit of turn number 2 and looking to get the first stage win out here tonight and pick up 10 stage points. But Jamie Walker's going to have something to say about it by the time we get down into turn number 3. The 88 throws it in there, but here comes Christopher Norris on the inside.
Here we go then for the final time in stage 1. Ryan Rose in the 78 is going to lead us off of turn 4 and going to shock the field with a win in stage 1. It didn't look like it was going to come from the 78, but he makes the move at the right time, and we're going to go back and catch a replay of that move since we didn't catch it live for the 78 of Rose, who does indeed secure the win in stage number 1. Let's go ahead and take a look right here at the pass. Coming out of turn 4, gets alongside the 88 of Walker. He's going to be able to use this side draft to his advantage all the way down the front stretch. Draws about even. And down into turn 1, the only play he has is to drive it in about as deep as he can. He does that. He's going to slide up in front of the 88. Now, this is where Walker would have an opportunity to come back and try and hassle him, but the 88 just gets a little too loose right there. He can't quite get the momentum he needs, and that was all she wrote for Ryan Rose to make the move stick and win in stage 1.
That is classic Michigan at its best. Ryan Rose set himself up the corner before he actually made the pass, and well, he's going to be bringing us down onto pit road for the first time, and I got to imagine we're going to see probably the entire field, but keep an eye on the 2, the 4, and the 24. And a couple of others. I don't think they were using up all the good on the Goodyears, as they may place some track position here.
I would imagine they probably would. We're going to see. I'm really curious to find out how these drivers manage their tires, especially at a track like Michigan, Tom. Given what we've seen in practice, given what we've seen before, this is a track that really, really emphasizes the importance of tires, whether it's, 2 laps on a run or 10 laps on a run or 30 laps on a run. It doesn't matter. You want those 4 tires every single time.
Well, we already know that stage 1 was not an issue on fuel, was cut a little bit short with the caution early in stage number 1. We do think, though, that stage number 2, there could be some concern about fuel. Drivers unsure if they can make this full 30 laps.
That's right. In practice, it was looking like 24 to 25 laps was the normal fuel window. Now, of course, given the yellow given the placement of the yellow right here, we're going to get a couple of those laps, a couple of those 30 nullified from the yellow here. We're going to be pitting right now on lap 22. We're going to have another pace lap or two after the fact for these drivers to save a little bit of fuel. So this puts us right on the window. These drivers can absolutely make it to the end of stage 2, but they're not going to make it without saving some fuel.
Ryan Rose brings us down onto pit road, and we're going to watch the battle for pit exit out here as we see multiple drivers up and down pit road for service. Shane Johnson does come onto pit road. Mark Arthur comes onto pit road, but looks like those are either going to be fuel or right side tires only. Pit service time for Mark Arthur, the winner of the race off pit road, 8 seconds in the box.
8 seconds in the box. I would like to think that's going to be a fuel only stop for the 12 of Arthur. 2 tires feels like it might make the handling even worse than it already is, so I'm not sure. We'll see. But Shane Johnson only had 5 seconds. Shane Johnson had pit previously as well, so only needed a little bit of fuel to get back up to full. We'll see how this plays out, but these drivers could be playing the tire management game already, saving a set for a little bit later on in the race.
Resetting the top 5 as we expect to see the 1 to go signal this time by Mark Arthur is currently the race leader. Shane Johnson pit earlier in that caution in stage number 1, currently in second. Jamie Walker finishes second in stage number 1. He is currently third on the board. Sammy Garcia and Ryan Rose. Ryan is kind of the big loser here on that first round of yellow flag pit stops, as he's going to actually lose what I assume to be about 2 net positions.
That he is, and I tell you what, Sammy Garcia in that 50, he has been very quietly moving his way up the running order, and now in position. He can see the lead just ahead of him. As these drivers get doubled up, we're working lap 23. The restart will be coming to 24. And of course, reminder that stage 2 ends at 50. These drivers are just outside of their fuel window. They're going to need to do some fuel saving to make it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a handful of drivers electing to just push, hope for a caution, and if not, top off before the end of the stage. And we'll see another chunk of drivers who are trying to stretch their fuel and make it. I guess, if anything, based on what we've seen so far this season through the first 8 races, I would tend to think that most drivers will actually lean towards saving fuel.
Arie, regarding Sam Garcia, were you able to get any additional information which Daytona 24 they were running in? Because you could also be thinking about maybe some fatigue in that number 50. I know there's some fatigue up here in the booth here tonight, as we recently finished our own Daytona 24. But Sam Garcia, it's hard to bounce back and forth and not think about the other race and stay 100% focused here.
Oh, absolutely. As far as I know, he's done some already, and he's still got more to go after this race. That was about all the information I got. So we'll see, but Sammy Garcia doing a great job, all things considered. And here we go then. Pace cars off, and into the restart zone we go. Old tires on the front row. How is this going to affect the field?
Big time issues at the start-finish line. Sam Garcia goes around. Cody Gibson, more drivers go around at pretty much the entire outside line here. Damage on the number 50 as well as others.
Significant damage to go around. Those old tires did not play nicely with the 2 car of Shane Johnson. We're going to get a look right here. We're going to keep it slowed down as we watch these drivers enter the restart zone. We'll zoom it out right here. You can see the 2 car goes to get on the gas, and that car just doesn't go. Just wheel spin, gets the bump from behind. That accordion effect sends everyone up into the outside wall. The 38 gets a good piece of that. The 50 probably gets the worst of it. The 55 of Goalie, he was just trying to get through. He gets clipped right there as well. You can see a number of other drivers here just trying to scoot their way through. Larry Bell in the 43. We got the 24, Joshua O'Brien, getting sideways here. Number of drivers involved.
Big time issues for Gabriel Goalie, as he's going to have required repairs on that 55 Ford Mustang, as well as other drivers out here. I was wondering what happened first. Did the 2 get some help, or did the 38, or did he just spin the tires before he got into the 38? But I think it was pretty clear there from the blimp cam. The outside lane just kind of didn't go, and the 38 of Christopher Norris really in a bad spot there with not many options.
Not many options indeed. We can get a good look at the front end of that Ford Mustang right there. Got a little bit of a dent in it. Fortunately, I don't think that would cause too much issue around a track like Michigan, but of course you're going to want to get that fixed. Looks like the splitter, maybe, if anything, that would probably affect things, but Norris is going to bring it down on pit road regardless. We got a number of drivers bringing it down on pit road. Race leader Mark Arthur, Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose, Christopher Norris, Gabriel Ngoli, Bell, O'Brien, Troy, West. Most of the field, we've got 4 drivers electing to stay out and try and save the fuel without the top off to get to the end of stage 2 here. Now, I tell you what, Tom, this does mean that everyone 5th place on back has enough fuel to get to the end of stage 2, guaranteed. These 4 up front, Kanata, Benfield, Pavlik, West, they are going to be right in the danger zone.
You got to start to wonder, though, if the drivers that stayed out here, Joshua, Kanata, Stoney, Matthew, and Jackson, I mean, they've seen how the close racing has been out here tonight at Michigan. They could be thinking this may not be the last one of the 30 laps of stage number 2. And I kind of, if I was out there, I'll take the track position and try to save it up front instead.
I tell you what, it's not a bad call. To be honest, the way it's shaping up at the moment, though, Tom, I feel like we might have already wrecked about 3/4 of the field, so there might not be too much chaos left on track to worry about. We'll see how many of these drivers can get their machines repaired, get back out there, and still be competitive. But, man, looking at the list of drivers on pit road at the moment getting damage repaired, this has been quite the extraordinary Michigan race.
It is pretty much from 11th place on back, Alex Fuller all the way down to Cody Gibson, 11th down to 20th on the timing charts down there. The drivers on pit road, a couple of drivers making their way off of pit road in front of the pace car, Tanner Marr, Alex Fuller, Caleb West, Sam Garcia, and more, trying to stay on the lead lap and in contention for stage number 2. I still like the call for the top 4 here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Getting that track position, getting yourself out ahead of everyone else can't hurt by any means, especially for drivers who, were really further back. I think Kanata was, the closest up to the front as they ran, but you get drivers like Benfield, like Pavlik, like West. Those drivers were quite a bit back, so this is a huge change in track position, and they'll probably net gain no matter how this goes.
The control car, the Toyota Supra, driven by Joshua Kanata, elects to take the outside lane. Matthew Pavlik going to be on the inside lane for row number 1 of the restart. Row number 2 going to be made up of Jamie Walker, Stoney Benfield. Stoney's really kind of not a name that we've talked about a whole lot here on the All-American Racing League on Saturday nights, but he's running strong out here tonight, up 10 positions from his qualifying start of 13th.
That he has. Driver 75 showing out well tonight. Infamous for that strange number placement on that machine. I'm going to dive down to the inside right here. Maybe a little correction on the way these drivers were lined up just in time for this pace car to get ready to take that sharp left-hander. Looks like the 75 is going to give a lot of room to the race leader up there. Going to wait, keep him in sight so that he can time the restart right here. Kanata in control. Slight damage to the right rear, but nothing too significant. And here we go then, up to speed with only about 8 drivers in the 2x2 pack.
We are set to send them off on their way. Once again, Joshua Kanata is going to control the race as they come into turn number 1 here with the big advantage over second place, the 75 of Benfield. Got about a 5, maybe a 6 car length lead as they enter into turn number 1. First battle on track. Matthew Pavlik maybe taking it to the inside at 75.
We're going to see Kanata is gone out front as the 75 of Benfield slots into second. We've got Pavlik in third. Here comes Jamie Walker, one of the drivers who just made sure he's good on fuel, as did Ryan Rose in the 78. Now Rose, winner of stage 1, he's going to get ahead of Walker. That's going to be a big deal because those two will be effectively battling for P1, assuming the top 4 have to save some amount of fuel and lose that track position. We'll see how it plays out, but at the moment, Ryan Rose on a mission.
This time by 20 laps to go in stage number 2. Keep an eye on the top 4 as they stayed out underneath the most recent yellow flag with the issue on the restart there. See if we see any sort of strategy calls from Kanata, Rose, Benfield, or Walker on the outside lane here. But so far, so good for the top 4. They are set sail.
That they are. Everyone getting nice and spread out. It helps when there's a number of drivers who had to start at the tail end. of that restart due to damage repairs and wave arounds and the like. Got the field mostly spread out right here. I think we're going to see a pretty chill stage 2 through the rest of the way. If I had to guess here, Tom, we're watching the 38 of Norris try to make his way back up through the field. Looks like he got that car fully repaired.
Yeah, the fenders always look good on there. We did see a little bit of front and middle nose damage on that number 38, but these drivers are sideways on the exit of turn number 2. But yeah, I think that 38, he's hooked up, and now all he needs is a little bit of track position to help him along his way. One driver who is looking for track position, that is stage 1 winner Ryan Rose, looking to take the race lead off of corner number 4 at the line. It's going to be the 78 with another lap left.
That it is, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the 16 of Kanata tuck back into line behind the 78 here, use that draft, maybe even behind the 88, because Walker is flying. But Kanata's in a position where he might be right on his number at best. He's going to be a little close, so having a little bit of a draft to pull himself along certainly would help his fuel situation. He's going to have to slide in after grazing the wall there, and that brings Walker right back to the rear bumper of Ryan Rose.
Jamie Walker is going to take second place away from the 16 of Josh Kanata as we come off of turn number 4. Kind of the opposite story of what we saw at stage number 1. Now Jamie Walker trailing Ryan Rose here as we come just about halfway through stage number 2. Top 3, Rose, Walker, and Kanata, with Benfield and Pavlik in the top 5.
And those two are continuing to battle it out as Christopher Norris makes his way into the picture. That 38 Ford Mustang not out of it yet, and we have battles going on all over because the race lead is now under threat. Here comes Jamie Walker.
Walker to the inside into turn number 3, and he's going to be able to make the pass. How does Ryan Rose respond? Do we see a crossover on the exit of turn number 4? Possibly. Not going to happen off the exit of turn number 4, maybe into turn number 1. At the line, give Jamie Walker a lap lead in that Camaro.
Riding on board with second place runner Ryan Rose. Let's see what the 78 does into turn 1. Follows him right in line, maybe gets a little peek to the inside, trying to get some clean air on that nose. He gets over that seam, and that's going to make the car get a little loose. You can see how Jamie Walker starts to drive away. That's because the 78 had to get out of the throttle just a little bit. It's all one big momentum game at the end of the day.
It really is, and the driver's going to use anything to their advantage, whether it's draft, dirty air, or a crossover to their advantage. But Jamie Walker, he's opened up just a little bit here by about a quarter of a second over second place Ryan Rose. Joshua Kanata, after touching the wall on the exit of turn number 2 a couple of laps ago, he runs back in third place. A couple of drivers towards the back half of the top 10, Joshua O'Brien following the 75 around, as well as the 12 car.
A 24 car trying to make up some positions, involved in one incident that caused a little bit of damage, and then just in the middle of that big kerfuffle on the restart as well. Joshua O'Brien looking to have a much more relaxed remainder of the race than what he's had so far, but doing good so far. Back into P8, that's where he started, and setting his eyes forward.
It has been a fiery start to tonight's race here in the Patrick Pierce Memorial 100. Out here tonight being led by Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose. At the front of the field, you got a little bit of separation before you find third place, Joshua Kanata, Christopher Norris. Christopher Norris looks like he got that damage fixed and on the move again, but driver on the move again is the stage 1 winner, Ryan Rose. Takes a look to the inside of the 88 of Walker down the backstretch.
How aggressive does he get with the side draft? Not as aggressive as he could have. He's finally going to get there, entry of 3 rather. Walker's actually going to get out of the gas early. He's going to let him slide up the track and see if Walker can't do a crossover.
Possible crossover coming, gonna have to wait, but also here comes Christopher Norris back in third place. He's going to try to make a way around the 16, but up front, Jamie Walker takes a look to the outside, ducks back in behind the rear bumper of the 78, and he's going to set himself up for another opportunity at another one.
That he is. That 88 is staying glued on the rear end of the 78. Those two cannot get away from one another. They keep battling at the rate they've been going. That's going to open the door wide open for Christopher Norris in the 38.
Yeah, Christopher Norris really just in a bad spot to begin that restart issue that we saw a couple of laps ago. Has made his way back up very well, I may say. Has made his way back up to the top 3 as they come around. Keep an eye on that 38. He was strong in stage 1, and he's been strong on his march back forward.
You see Jamie Walker pushing the 78 of Rose into turn 1, trying to get that 78 a little uneasy, a little uncomfortable. Doesn't want to have to race him so hard, but Jamie Walker, of course, does want the lead in this race. Just kind of playing a little bit of head games right now, Tom. When you're that trailing car, if you keep trading positions, you keep battling this hard. Maybe you just try to rattle the other guy. You try to get in his head just a little bit.
Very possible, and drivers kind of do that at short tracks, Arias. We're going to see a battle for the race lead off of turn number 4. Jamie Walker going to take a look to the inside here at the start-finish line. They're going to be nose-to-nose. You get the car in front of you looking up in their mirror, maybe overdriving, maybe missing by half a lane, and that's how you have the opportunity to make a pass here as Jamie Walker down up on the inside. He's going to need to make the pass here before the 38 comes into play.
He's not going to be able to do it. The 78 has got the momentum down the back straightaway. We can see the 38 of Norris closing in on the rear bumper of our 2 race leaders. Going to be almost an even spread amongst them into turn 3. And how about Matthew Pavlik, by the way, one of the drivers who stayed out in hopes of getting that track position, still up here, still running in P4, about to lose that position to Mark Arthur as it sits, but driver 30, sponsor of tonight's race, having a phenomenal running now that he's up here.
Yeah, strong showing for staying out on that restart here as, well, he's able to, for the time being, hold on to the 4th place position in front of Mark Arthur. We'll see if that pans out here over the next corner, as Mark Arthur is going to have the advantage down into turn number 3. Mark Arthur with that Supra on the inside, going to take 4th place away, but Pavlik's still up inside the top 5.
That he is, and Mark Arthur, I believe, did take tires on that quick caution into stage 2, so no tires at the end of stage 1, did take tires eventually, though. That is why the 12 car is making a run through the field as we continue to watch Jamie Walker all over the rear bumper of Ryan Rose down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he certainly was, as now he's probably going to have the momentum on the exit of turn number 2, and taking a look off the deck lid off of Ryan Rose here on the backstretch. You can't get any closer than that, and going into the corner, that's not a comfortable feeling. Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose up front. Walker trying to force a mistake from the 78, but unable to do so far.
So far, Ryan Rose has held his composure nicely, holding on to this race lead as we now cross the line and we work lap 42 and 9 laps to go. Here in stage number 2, it's coming down to the wire. All the while, Christopher Norris and Mark Arthur eyeing up these two, looking at an opportunity.
It's going to be difficult for Christopher Norris if these two drivers continue to race how they're racing up front, with Jamie Walker pushing the 78 down the straightaways here. Going to be difficult for the 38 to do anything unless he gets help from the 12, or if the 12 gets help from the 38 here, the 12 is going to take a look here to try to take the 3rd spot away from the 38 of Christopher Norris.
Well, I tell you what, Mark Arthur is on a mission, gets that move done, gets ahead of Christopher Norris. That's now P3 on the run. So we see the sun peek behind some cloud cover. That's going to darken up the front straightaway down into turn 1 just a little bit. See if that holds and if that affects the track temps here. But Jamie Walker starting to fall off the rear bumper of the 78 as we get deeper into this run. Might fall into the clutches of the 12.
You got to wonder if over the past couple of laps, if he has put enough air on the front end of that car to affect the right front tire on that 88 is now. He's separated just a little bit from the race leader. The most separation we've seen in the last 5 laps between the race leaders here, but you can see these drivers fighting these machines on the exit of the corners.
Cross the line this time. The 78 still with an advantage, this time with breathing room. Ahead of Walker in second. Mark Arthur has not closed the gap too much since getting into 3rd place right here. Remains to be seen over the last 7 laps of this run. 7 laps around Michigan is no small amount of time, no small deal on these tires, so anything can still happen.
Next time by, we're going to see 6 laps to go in the stage. Mark Arthur starting to close in on Jamie Walker. The battle for second is quickly becoming the one that we're taking a look at here, as Christopher Norris has lost a little bit of time to the race leaders here. Ryan Rose has walked away a little bit from the 88 of Jamie Walker. Mark Arthur is looking to take an opportunity to take 2nd place away from the 88. If he's going to take the stage win, he's going to need to make his way around the 88 here in the next lap or 2.
That he is. Time is running out, and these passes are difficult to make. at a track like this far into a run. As we currently sit working through turns 3 and 4, Mark Arthur is going to get that nose to the inside of Walker. How much does the 88 fight it? As the 78 gets a loose out of 4, that's going to bring Ryan Rose back. And now Ryan Rose is potentially going to be under pressure from not one, but 2 drivers.
Rose plays the defensive line down the front stretch as he's going to slide down in front of the 12, pull a little bit draft on the inside, slide up in front of the 88, and try to even the lines out here. But on the exit of turn number 2, Mark Arthur is going to take second place away as we're working around the lap vehicle of Nick Crawford, former race leader, out here this evening.
Down into turn 3, Jamie Walker is going to come back for P2 right here. Can he make it stick? Probably not as well. It seems like that 12 car is just a little faster at the moment, but these two are going to be slowing each other down, and Ryan Rose is driving away, bringing that lead close to a second now in just about half a lap.
Ryan Rose loves to see it. Another driver who loves to see it is Christopher Norris, as Christopher Norris is now in the picture for the battle for second as well. He is going to try to pull up on the rear bumper of the 88 here. We're going to single file down the backstretch, but up front, you got about 3/4 of a second of the lead between Ryan Rose and second place Mark Arthur.
Down into turn 3, riding on board with car 38. Going to use that very bottom line. Not too often you see drivers using that line through 3 and 4 here at Michigan. Searching everywhere he can on these old tires, just can't quite get the momentum he needs off of the corner to pull up to the back of third place Jamie Walker. Across the line that time, 3 laps ago in stage number 2.
All right, question of the night so far. Mark Arthur able to clear. Last time by, he was just over a tenth better than race leader Ryan Rose. Does he have the time here with 2.5 laps to go in stage number 2 to get up there and steal away the stage win the same way Ryan Rose stole away a stage win from Jamie Walker earlier in tonight's race? But Jamie Walker says, not so fast. I'm going to still stay up on your inside, as we're going to see 2 laps to go in the stage.
Mark Arthur takes it all the way out to the wall on exit right there. Jamie Walker trying to keep it pinned to the inside. He's not going to be able to do so. Has to tuck back in line as we approach turn 1. Ryan Rose's lead is up to a second officially with 2 laps to go in this stage. Just has to survive and bring it home.
Jamie Walker all over the back of Mark Arthur and Christopher Norris, looking for an opportunity for one of these 2 drivers to slide up so that he can slide in and become a factor for a battle for second place. Taking a quick look back a little bit, Joshua O'Brien, Joshua Kanata back in about 6th, 7th place. These drivers also having a good battle here to end stage number 2 here with Pavlik directly in front of them, who's still hanging on to a top 5 running spot.
Absolutely. Matthew Pavlik in the 30, about to score some very good stage points for that team. Great shot in the arm from how the season has gone so far. And up front, it looks like Mark Arthur might be under a little less pressure now, starting to maybe add to that gap just in time as we work the final lap in stage 2.
No pressure up front for Ryan Rose as he's opened up a second lead over second place Mark Arthur, who looks to take stage number 2 win out here tonight in that number 78 off of turn number 4 out of Brooklyn, Michigan. Ryan Rose is going to be able to take that stage win, and the battle is going to be for second.
That it is. Across the line, it's a sweep of the stages for driver 78. Ryan Rose is going to make it happen ahead of Mark Arthur, Jamie Walker, Christopher Norris. 5th place at the line, Matthew Pavlik, who immediately, I believe, started saving some fuel. Let's ride on board with the 30 here. It looks like those revs might be sputtering just a little bit here, Tom.
That doesn't sound like a sputtering to me. That sounds like on throttle, off throttle here, at least from what I'm hearing. But he is going to need to maintain pace speed here underneath the caution here. Now, we got a little bit of leeway here because we're waiting on the iRacing.com pace car to come out and collect the field on the exit of turn number 2. So Matthew Pavlik maybe just trying to save just a little bit here. 50 laps down, 30 in stage number 2. The iRacing pace car is out and brings us underneath the caution flag once again.
So far, we have seen quite the race. We are now officially halfway through tonight's event, racing to lap 100. By the end of it all, we have seen countless drivers involved in incidents up to this point in tonight's event. We got a number of drivers who have parked it for the evening. Samuel Garcia, Gabriel Ngoli, Larry Bell, Cody Gibson, Zachary Wake, Aaron Bockover, Chris Carroll, all out of this race. Still running on track, everyone through P16, but 16th place is going to be about 20 laps down. Drivers 1 and 2 laps down. Nolan Mills, Nick Crawford involved in the first incident of the night. We've got 13 drivers on the lead lap as it stands. And this is going to be a great opportunity, Tom, for some of these drivers to come home with a lot of points and a really good finish. Drivers like Matthew Pavlik in the 30, like Joshua O'Brien, Jackson West, Stoney Benfield, these drivers who could really use a great run tonight.
Last time on pit road, Ryan Rose lost a couple of spots on pit road while he was in here for service. Needs to come out as the race leader, as everybody going to be coming onto pit road, got to imagine, for 4 tires and a full tank of fuel to begin stage number 3, which is going to be our longest at just under 50 laps.
Get some fun onboard shots here on pit road as all these drivers make their way on in. I'm going to take a look at the pit exit camera right here. You can see the damaged car of Cody Gibson, that blue Cheetos machine involved in that first incident here. We got Mark Arthur, Matthew Pavlik out of their pit stalls. Here comes the 38, the 88, the 78. Might have gotten beat off pit road. Mark Arthur may have jumped into first place right there. I'm going to take a look right here.
It looked like it. Yep, Ryan Rose yields that spot to Mark Arthur on the apron here. So now Mark Arthur gonna be the control car for this restart here. 50 laps to go, Arie. Couple of yellow flags here to break it up. You said before fuel was about 25 laps, so that's fun.
That is fun. These drivers are going to be right on their number. They're going to have to keep an eye on their fuel. I think given they're coming off of pit road on lap 52, that means that we're all right, but they might want to save as much as they can just to be safe, because they're going to have to stretch the entire tank out before pitting, and even then, it's still going to be right on the number. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear a lot of these engines shutting off under yellow. Just go ahead and save what little bit you can. Give yourself a little bit of a safety net, and of course, you never know about any overtime finishes, though I would imagine they would come down for tires regardless.
You got to take a look at the bigger picture, though, Arie. I mean, 23 drivers started tonight. Looks like there's going to be, 12 currently on the lead lap out here. If you're running back in 10th, 11th, 12th, just come down, grab another half a gallon, put it in the tank, as looks like Jackson West and Joshua Kanata may be doing just that here.
Seems to be the case, and you know what? I like the call, Tom. I do like the call. It's not like you're not going to drop all the way back to 26th, 27th. With a lot of drivers on the lead lap. You're just outside of the top 10. That's a good day, even in a normal circumstance, so you might as well do it. See if you can't gain some positions, not have to worry about your fuel. Keep your mind focused on the tires, on making it to the finish, and see what happens.
Reset in the field once again. Mark Arthur, the control car, takes the outside lane here for this most recent restart. And Ryan Rose on the inside. Ryan Rose, pit stops have been the issue for the 78 out here tonight, as both times he has lost 1 or more spots on pit road. Jamie Walker on the inside of row number 2, followed by Christopher Norris in the top 5, rounded out by Pavlik.
Pace car is going to pull in this time around. We are only double file, about 4 rows deep. The rest of the field all single file behind from their lengthy pit stops, from their wave arounds, and the like. Here we are then, pace car getting ready to pull off for potentially the final time tonight. We're going to be in stage 3. Mark Arthur on the outside, going to be the control car.
Getting ready to begin the run to the checkered flag as we go into the restart zone. Up on the outside, Mark Arthur is going to hit the loud pedal and come up 4 gears strong. Put the 12 to the point. Christopher Norris in a good spot to take second place.
And he is going to do that. The 38 car of Norris has the opportunity. Rose does fight back to the inside. We'll see what Norris can do here. Going to slice through the middle. Beats Rose on the high side. Now dives down to the inside of Arthur. He's going to have a huge run down the back straightaway.
That Mustang is running into turn number 3. New race leader, Christopher Norris, from damage from the back of the pack up to the race lead. is Christopher Norris as he looks to walk away from the 12 of Mark Arthur as more battles back in the back half of the top 5. Joshua O'Brien, Jamie Walker, Tanner Marr, all underneath the blanket here for about the 5th place running position.
I tell you what, Tom, Joshua O'Brien in the 24 car, now into the top 5 and looking for more. He must have flipped a switch because that 24 car is on a mission at the moment, hounding the rear bumper of Mark Arthur, trying to get ahead of the 78 of Ryan Rose. You know, he had a lot of trouble early in the race, as we covered, but now O'Brien has an opportunity to go up there and maybe even look at a podium.
Yeah, Joshua O'Brien, one of the cars involved in that big incident, that big melee off of turn number 2 that originally collected Cody Gibson and others. So gets that 24 beat up in the right direction, got all the fenders pulled out, and that 24 is looking good and racy here in the final stage.
There'll be some static shots down the back straightaway. We are 3 wide for a moment as Ryan Rose falls further back. Jamie Walker to the inside, Stoney Benfield all the way up in that outer groove in that 75. And do my eyes deceive me? Is that driver number 4, Tanner Marr, up into the top 5 for the first time tonight, up 16 positions on track, the biggest mover of tonight's race, and a name that I don't think we've said a single time before now.
Tanner Marr making his name known out here in the Irish Hills of Michigan Speedway as he is solidly up inside the top 5 as they run right now. He is working on the inside of the 75, Stoney Benfield, who's having a good run out here tonight in Michigan, but battle for the race lead. Mark Arthur, he's going to take a look, get a good run down the backstretch on the inside of the 38, going to try to make his way through and clear off of turn number 4. He's going to be clear by a mile.
That he is, as the 24 gets real squirrely out of 4. He's going to lose a lot of momentum in maybe 3 positions from that, maybe even 4 down into turn 1. Just goes to show how important keeping your momentum up is here in Michigan. As Stoney Benfield works that outside line, that 75 car, Tom, has been really good since the restart.
He's been pretty racy all night out here tonight. He elected to stay out, take some track position, lost it on the restart. Now he's running solidly back up into a podium running spot right here as he's going to try to take a look up on the outside, maybe for second place for that 75. And we're going to set sail on that 75 of Benfield and new second place runner, that 75 Mustang of Stoney Benfield.
Benfield now sets his eyes on the race leader, Mark Arthur, just ahead, as he clears the kerfuffle just behind, and that group of drivers not ready to stop going at it yet. Tanner Marr wants to get up another position. Jamie Walker wants to get back up into the hunt as well. We know that 88 car is fast. And what happened to Ryan Rose, Tom? Winner of both of the first 2 stages. He currently finds himself in 9th place.
Well, he was one of the drivers that did not come down pit road, along with multiple other drivers that did not come down for a little bit more fuel in the tank. Don't see any events or issues for the number 78. Maybe just some fuel gains here from that 78.
Could very well be the case. Try to save a lap or 2 on the front side and not have to worry the rest of the way. Either way, we'll keep tabs on Ryan Rose as we do, as Stoney Benfield in the 75. He's pulling away from Norris, maybe even reeling in the 12 of Arthur here as we run. Wouldn't it be quite the story if Stoney Benfield can go up there and take the race lead?
Yeah, last time by was a little bit better than the race leader, Mark Arthur. Now, granted, he's going to have a little bit of draft, so maybe that's to be expected here, but the 75 pulling away from the 38, even just the tiniest of it here at the start-finish line. A quarter of a second from first place Mark Arthur to second place Stoney Benfield, the driver out of North Carolina. We're going to make our way down into turn number 1 as he takes a pretty good line in there, and now he's going to have a pretty good run on the exit.
That he is. Down the back straightaway we go. Close the gap quite a bit right there. Now looking for the run down into turn 3. Where does Benfield go? Where does Arthur defend? Arthur's going to go all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack, but this 75 car, Tom, he looks really comfortable up here in the middle to high part of the racetrack.
He really does, and the throttle seems pretty comfortable for him as well, as we were on board with him there for about a half a lap, and sounded pretty good with that right foot as he is making his way closer and closer to the race leader. Mark Arthur leads us with 38 laps to go.
38 laps to go down the back straightaway. The top two have kind of broken away just a little bit, but maybe not for too much longer. Jamie Walker has gotten himself ahead of Christopher Norris. That's a new P3 runner now, and Jamie Walker has led this race before, nearly won stage 1, had a chance in stage 2. Jamie Walker is going to be a name that these drivers have to compete with, as we see Tanner Marr get sideways off of 4. Good save from that driver.
Across the start-finish line, Mark Arthur pulls away a little bit that lap from the 75 in the field. Jamie Walker closes in on the back of the number 75. We'll see what Jamie's able to do here. Driver kind of being quiet here in stage number 3. Is that 38? Showed flashes of speed here earlier in tonight's race. Quietly running back in the 4th place running order as Jamie Walker takes a look to the inside of the 75. It's a turn 3.
He's going to get to the outside, drives it in deep, but here comes Benfield with the momentum, taking that longer route around the track. He's going to get loose, though. That's going to lose the spot, and Walker has it now, P2. Meanwhile, a little further back, Matthew Pavlik gets around Tanner Marr. That 30 car, he is not going anywhere. I think he's bound and determined to get a top 5 tonight.
The sponsor of tonight's race trying to get a solid run out here tonight, and he's been strong, whether it's on strategy or race speed. That 30 has been a top 5 car pretty much the entirety of tonight's race. As we continue our way around here, Josh Kanata, leader in the race earlier out here, he's going to take another spot from Tanner Marr. Tanner starting to make his way towards the front as it's going to get tight on the exit of turn number 4, but they're going to be able to carry on without issue. Almost contact on the exit of 4.
Very, very close. Tanner Marr wanted to run the outside, keep that nose there. Josh Kanata ran him as far up the track as he could without taking him out, trying to just squeeze him for the position. They get through it. Tanner Marr on the outside again right here, but Kanata's going to be far enough ahead to pull up. Now does Tanner Marr just pull up to the rear bumper? Does he look to the inside? Down into turn 3 we go. He's going to tuck back in line.
Back up at the front of the field, Jamie Walker on the inside of Mark Arthur. He has taken away the effective race lead here as Mark Arthur is going to set himself up for a crossover. We're going to see a crossover on the exit of turn number 4 at the start-finish line. A reversed image of what we saw a lap ago. Mark Arthur on the inside, Jamie Walker up on the outside. That 88 is going places here tonight, Arie.
That he is. Has Jamie Walker saved just enough to give Mark Arthur a hard time right here. Driver 12 holds on to the lead and defends successfully for that first occasion. Walker, he's not going to give up so easily. Down the back straightaway, he's going to give a big push to the 12 into corner entry. Does the 12 blink? Does the 88 get a nose to the outside? He's going to get sideways in the middle of the corner, a little sideways off, but they're both loose enough that the momentum is still there.
The momentum is on the 12 and the 88 right now as we come down into turn number 1. Christopher Norris slowly closing into the battle for the race lead while these drivers continue to swap positions out here with 33 laps to go. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier tonight, Arie. You have one opportunity to slot back up, or you may lose multiple spots here, but Jamie Walker to the race lead, Mark Arthur directly behind him, and here comes that sneaky 38, still continuously making his way towards the front.
I tell you what, Tom, that sneaky 38, that has been the case the entire race so far. He has just kept putting himself in position to watch whoever the top 2 are go at it, and you know what? By the end of the race, that could work out perfectly if he's right there in time to swoop in for a win.
The battle for the race lead has opened up a little bit. Jamie Walker has opened up maybe a 1, maybe a 2 car length lead on the exit of turn number 2. Mark Arthur going to be in the clutches of the 38 of Mark Arthur directly behind him. But another driver continuing to make his way forward. You got the 16 and the 24 and the 75 still really strong.
Number of drivers up here having great runs tonight. The 75 and the 32 drivers who are going to be very happy with the points haul at the end of tonight's race if they can keep their races going as it sits. Josh Kanata back here in 5th. He's probably thinking there's a great opportunity up ahead of him. He's just got to get around these guys. He's got to get his name into that conversation up front. With a number of contenders having issues early on, being involved in incidents, that 16 car can go pick up a lot of pieces here.
He certainly can, as he's going to take a look to the inside of the 75 into turn number 3. Try to take another spot away and advance his running position to 4th. Out here, we're going to see 30 laps to go this time. Once he does get around the 75, if he does get around the 75, he's going to be able to make the pass successfully on the exit turn number 4. The challenge now becomes he's got a long way to go before he starts to pull the draft at the 38.
That's right. Josh Kanata's got a big gap now to make up, a little over a second. The 38 is a teammate, though I don't know if the 38's going to be feeling willing at all to drop back a little bit and give him a bit of a tow. I think Kanata's going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. He does get ahead, however, and now the 16 can set his sights forward. Meanwhile, up front, it looks like Norris is starting to put the pressure on the rear end of Mark Arthur.
Norris going to take a look to the outside of that number 12. Not going to be able to do anything with it just yet. Inside 30 laps to go. We have been green flag racing since the beginning of stage number 3. Drivers will be coming down for fuel. Most of the field last pit on lap number 52, a couple on lap number 53. So we expect to see stops somewhere around the lap number 75, 76 marker.
Christopher Norris does get the pass done through turns 1 and 2 right there. Gets ahead of Mark Arthur. New P2 runner down into turn 3 we go as we work 29 laps to go. Going to hug that inside yellow line right there. That looked like a phenomenal corner right there for the 38 of Norris. He's going to close that gap to Walker just a little bit and give himself a little more breathing room. Has the 38 of Norris found something late in the run on these older tires?
He may have, Ari, but that could very easily be undercut if a driver like Mark Arthur or Joshua Kanata is probably in the catbird seat here to come down pit road and undercut the drivers in front of him to try to close that gap up here. So 38 probably found something here on the older tires, but is it a little bit too late in the run for that to be a fact?
I tell you what, Tom, I would be surprised if we don't see every single driver come down the second they feel comfortable making it on fuel. I think the undercut's going to be so powerful here. We already know how difficult it is to make a pass. If you can go ahead and get that track position, I feel like you've got to take it, especially at a track this big. You're not going to risk going down, 2 laps, maybe 1 at most, depending on how many depending on where you're running. But at the moment, I think we're going to see a mess of drivers start to come down with about 25 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, drivers out here tonight, best lap time for Jamie Walker was a 39.48. Last lap time was a 41.29. So you're talking almost a full 2 seconds there between fresh tires and old tires. And that would kind of close the field anywhere from about 5th on back.
I tell you what, Christopher Norris has certainly figured something out because he has closed into the rear bumper of Jamie Walker every time through 3 and 4. That 38 car has been so good on that bottom line. Now we go through turns 1 and 2, battle for the race lead just in time for green flag pit stops. Can Norris clear? Yes, he can. New race leader, but maybe not for long as Walker to the inside.
Jamie Walker to the inside of the driver from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is Christopher Norris. Is Walker able to take the race lead back here? Christopher Norris, is this a pit entry here?
It could be.
It looked like he was angled up like it was.
It was angled like it was, but I think he just wanted to get to the inside line. He's been running so good in 3 and 4, and he just played that to perfection. A crossover that gets him clear before turn 1. Very impressive move from the 38 of Norris. As now we have 25 laps to go. That's the magic number, Tom. How many drivers are going to bring it down this time?
If you're the race leader, you can't wait for Joshua Kanata, Ryan Rose, Matthew Pavlik to pull the trigger and come in before you. If you're on the outside of the top 5, you're coming this lap. If you're one of the race leaders, you need to counteract that and think about coming here as well.
It's time to find out. Out of turn 4, the top 3 all going to stay out on track. Josh Kanata, the first one to bite.
Fast. Josh Kanata fast on pit road, taking a look, monitoring any sort of black flags for the 16. Don't see anything just yet, but he made the absolute most of that pit entry.
He absolutely did to Josh Kanata. I'm so surprised, Tom, that he's the only one to bite as soon as the pit lane opens here. I just feel like that track position is going to be too good. Here we go then. Next time around, we got 24 to go. Who will it be this time?
let's make a mental note. Josh Kanata came down. He was about 1.6, 1.7 seconds back behind the race leader, as it looks like the race leader is going to stay out here. The entire top 5 going to stay out here.
Very interesting. Stony Benfield going to be the next one to pull it down on pit road. So it looks like these drivers fancying more often than not to go ahead and run their entire fuel tank out. And I tell you who this benefits, Tom. It benefits the 16 of Kanata, but it also benefits the 38 of Norris, given he is the fastest driver on these old tires.
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of the race leaders here, Arie, I have a hard time staying out after seeing the 16 come down onto pit road. So we'll see how they answer, how and when they answer that call to the race leaders here, as Jamie Walker is going to come down into pit road.
Jamie Walker comes down, and that is going to be bad news for the 12 and the 38. With more drivers coming down, Tanner Marr brings it down as well, Jackson West. So we're starting to see a lot more drivers hit pit road, and I don't think these drivers can go much further at all. I think we're going to have to start seeing some pit stops out of the 38, the 12, and so on. They got to be just about out of fuel.
Joshua Kanata has made his way around Stony Benfield. That's significant because that is the first driver who has come down and off of pit road. Joshua Kanata in 10th, Stony Benfield in 11th. Here is the race leaders, Christopher Norris, Mark Arthur, and I would imagine Ryan Rose all come down onto pit road here.
Every remaining driver up front going to bring it down, including Caleb West back here. That brings us back around to Josh Kanata. All right, let's see if we can't pull up our track map right here, and we're going to try and show JC over CN. Josh Kanata versus Christopher Norris. You can see Norris in the 38 at the bottom of that track map right there. The race leader coming in at the very last possible moment versus the 16 of Kanata, who we're watching come down the front straightaway now. Kanata was the first one to pit on this sequence. He is going to have, what does that come out to, Tom? Maybe a 3-lap difference on tires? He is down into turn 1, and the 38 still got to get up to speed.
Good news, bad news for the 16. Good news is that Joshua Kanata is going to have, as it cycles out here, it looks like it's going to be about 2.6, maybe 2.7 seconds over second place. Bad news for Joshua Kanata in the same breath is that that 38 and that 88 going to have the opportunity to link bumpers and try to make their way forward here. So both a blessing and a curse to be out this far here with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, we're going to see which way this goes. There's 2.3 seconds between Josh Kanata and Jamie Walker. Now, the interesting situation that we have in front of us, Tom, is that Josh Kanata pit on lap 76. Jamie Walker on lap 78. Christopher Norris and Ryan Rose, 3rd and 4th place, 79. So we've got a little bit of an accordion effect right here with oldest tires in between and newest tires all converging towards the end.
Now, the way that this works out here for Josh Kanata is if those 3 drivers, Walker, Norris, Rose, if those 3 drivers begin to battle for position before they get to the race leader. And we're seeing a look here with Mark Arthur on the inside of Matthew Pavlik for a battle for the 6th place running position. That's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. What does Walker, what does Norris, what does Rose do once they start to make their way around each other? Do they work together to get to the race leader, Kanata, or do they fight each other?
It's going to have a big impact on what happens, and who catches who first is also going to have a big impact. I wouldn't be surprised if we see all 3 of our race leaders converge before it's all over. There are 19 laps to go. Mark Arthur gets the pass done on Matthew Pavlik in the 30. That is that position squared away, and we jump back up a little further ahead. Jamie Walker's got another 1.6 seconds to go to catch our race leader, but with every second that ticks by, with every lap that we put in the bank, Tom, those tires start to equalize out just a little more.
They start to equalize out, but they haven't equalized out yet. 3/10 better that last time by for second place Jamie Walker, who is now 1.4 seconds behind Josh Kanata. And once you get in within about a second, maybe 0.8, 0.9 of a second there to the race leader, you're going to start to pick up the draft of the race leader, Josh Kanata.
Yeah, Jamie Walker is going to be getting a little sniff of it at this point, and the closer he gets, the stronger it gets. You can see Josh Kanata just ahead. That's going to be the very next car on track And then ahead of Kanata, we've got a lap down vehicle circulating up in the high lane right here. But we're watching Jamie Walker get through turns 1 and 2 right here. And just by the eye test alone, Tom, you can see that gap closing.
You can. This time by, it's going to be almost to a second here. A couple of laps ago, it was about 2.4 at the exit of pit road here. Now, here's the thing is that Josh is going to have a little bit of drafting help here, at least for the front straightaway this next time by, as they pick up some draft from the lap vehicle. I want to say that's Brian Troy running back in 13th. So may stabilize out here for just a moment, but once that 27 is no longer in the windshield of the 16, may continue to close.
Certainly going to help on the straightaways is the 27 running in front of the 16 here at some point. Oh, the 27 is going to get sideways right there. Going to lose him a lot of speed now. At some point, Josh Kanata is going to have to worry about the dirty air. Is that going to come into play right here? What does the 16 decide to do?
Yeah, the benefit of the draft is quickly counteracted with the dirty air effect that these O'Reilly Auto Parts cars see, whatever they're called, here in Michigan, as we're going to see 15 laps to go. He takes a dip down low and pulls a little bit more air from the 27 Detroit before taking ship to the outside into turn number 1.
That he does, and Jamie Walker might not catch the 27 at the most ideal time. It's going to work out on the high side right there. Norris should be able to get by on the straightaway as well. And as we've kind of been thinking it was going to happen, Tom, the 38 is catching the 88 at about the same rate the 88 is catching the 16. So these three, it is anyone's game.
It is anybody's game, and we saw at the end of that last green flag pit stop there, the 38 was strong. The later we ran in the run, what does he have 48 for the 88, and does he get there before the 88 gets to the 16?
I am so curious to find out. 14 laps to go at the moment. We know Jamie Walker has the speed to win this race. Josh Kanata has pulled the strategy card. Jamie Walker has the short run speed. Christopher Norris has the long run speed. We have got quite the mixture all coming together as Jamie Walker is going to look to the inside for the race lead.
Kanata's going to run him down on the inside line, not egregiously, but try to take away any room for that 88 to walk around on turn number 3, as now that brings the 38 a little bit closer. If I'm the 16, I don't want to see the 38 in my rear view, but I want to see them start to battle, so I'm going to start to do anything I can to keep them both together. Well,
let's not forget, Tom, the 16 and the 38, those guys are teammates. They're racing in the same call. They are communicating, and I'm sure they're going to be doing anything they can to make sure it's at least one of those two in victory lane.
Well, they got a 2 out of 3 chance as it runs right now. Josh Kanata up on the outside. Here comes Christopher Norris and Jamie Walker to the middle, possibly a 3-wide situation on the exit of turn number 4. We're going to see a 3-wide situation on the front stretch. 12 laps to go, 3 wide at the line. Kanata, Norris, and Walker head us down into turn number 1, 3 wide.
3 wide for the race lead. 12 laps to go. Kanata's going to swoop around the outside in turns 1 and 2. The oldest tires of the bunch is going to make it happen. He's going to bring Christopher Norris down the back straightaway along with him. Jamie Walker 1v2 in this situation. Down into turn 3. Advantage Kanata.
Walker's hope here is that he needs to send it in as far as he possibly can and try to slide up, and he's going to slide up into the outside of the 38. We're going to stay green. A little bit of contact off of turn number 4, but that opens up the door for the 16 of Joshua Kanata, as now he has just over a 0.3 of a second lead. Not enough, but a little bit more than it was.
That is exactly what the 16 of Kanata needed. He just needed a little bit more breathing room. He needs to buy some time at the moment. He's on the worst tires out of these 3, and the more issues they have, the better his chances are. But now Christopher Norris has gone rid of Jamie Walker. He's left him in the dust, and now the 38 on 3-lap better tires takes it to the inside of teammate Kanata.
Mustang on the inside, the Super on the outside. Christopher Norris takes a look on the inside as he looks like he's going to lead this lap here. Last time by, we saw the 16 running tight with the 88 on the inside line. Expect to see the same thing down here into turn number 1. Joshua Kanata up on the outside, takes the huge run and the momentum out of turn number 2.
We're going to see out of turn 2 if the 16 can make it stick. No, he cannot. And Christopher Norris is going to take over the race lead with 10 laps remaining.
20 miles of racing out here from Michigan International Speedway, and new race leader Christopher Norris up at the front of the field, but Jamie Walker has not gone away as he is now setting his sights on that number 16 to set his sights on the race leader of Christopher Norris. Give us 9 laps to go.
Big side draft down the front straightaway. The 88 looking to take away P2 from Josh Kanata. The strategy play was phenomenal, and it came oh so close to working. He finds himself back down into P3 right now, and someone that we haven't mentioned in quite a while, Tom, is starting to peek his nose into the picture, and that is the 78 of Ryan Rose. He had the disadvantage of being a little further back of the pack, but he's closing in, and if we get a late race yellow, don't count out the 78 of Rose.
Ryan Rose, winner of stage 1, winner of stage 2, looking for the broom to sweep stage number 3 as he is in 4th place. Now the problem that the 78 has is that he is on the same lap tires as Christopher Norris, who is currently the race leader. So even if he does close the time difference here to 2nd place Jamie Walker and Joshua Kanata, I think it's going to be a tall mountain to climb for the 78 to catch the race leader of Norris.
I would tend to agree with that one. I think it's going to take a yellow and a little bit of a pit stop sequence to see how all of that would play out as we watch these drivers kind of get spaced out a little bit right here. Walker has started to step away from Kanata, though he cannot pull up to the back of Christopher Norris. I tell you what, Tom, the line Christopher Norris has found in turn 3 and 4, all the way down on the bottom right there, I don't know how he keeps that car planted so well, but it has worked wonders. It's kind of reminiscent of a certain New Hampshire race we watched a while ago where a driver had found something that we didn't expect, and it just worked so much better than anything else. And so I want to do a little tip of the hat to the 38 of Norris, because I have not seen somebody find an advantage like that around Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I mean, last time I saw it, I thought he was coming down pit road with the angle that he was taking, and he continues to run that inside line here on the exit of turn number 3 as he has opened up about a 0.6 of a second lead with Jamie Walker directly in tow.
Continuing to run away with it, and Ryan Rose is continuing to reel in 3rd place Josh Kanata. This is for a podium position. Every point, every position matters. We're going to see Rose try and close in right here. One thing is for certain, the top 5 on track have all previously won a race here in the All-American Racing League. Today, likely the day that our streak of no repeat winners comes to an end. The question still remains, which driver will be the one to score their second?
5 laps to go, and we'll have that answer out here tonight. Joshua Kanata gets a little loose on the exit of turn number 4 as he is now under fire from the 78 of Ryan Rose across the start-finish line as these drivers are going to make their way down into the north end of the speedway. Up front, nothing has changed between Christopher Norris and Jamie Walker. Battle for 3rd is the closest one.
Ryan Rose is going to send it in extremely deep right there, try and pull a slide job. He's going to do it ahead of Kanata, who's going to have to settle for 4th place on the road. Can he fight back to the inside? He's going to give it everything he's got before we're all said and done. 5 laps remain on the board this time around. It's going to be 4 at the line.
Maybe one more opportunity for Joshua Kanata to hold on to 4th place here from 3rd place here from Ryan Rose, as Ryan Rose has the advantage down the front stretch here. Josh Kanata is going to try to send it down into the entry into turn number 1. He's going to work his way up the track and try to keep those RPMs up as much as he possibly can. Not going to be able to hold him off just yet. Ryan Rose going to have the advantage off the 2.
Down the back straightaway we go. That side draft still in effect up front. Christopher Norris continues to run away from Jamie Walker as we get ready to see 3 laps to go. Continuing to watch the battle for the final podium position. Kanata to the inside, Rose to the outside. Can Kanata keep it pinned? As long as he's got the side draft, he's got a shot.
Josh is doing a pretty impressive job here with the less preferred line on the inside line. It's now, I think it's a song, dance, and story for Ryan Rose as he was able to make the pass on that number 16, but the 16 held strong on the inside line there without the momentum, and now the 78 has opened up a 2 or 3 car lanes difference here.
That's all he needed. Ryan Rose was to just break free of that side drafting right there something that we see affect so many drivers at races here in Michigan. You got to know how to play the drafting game, and Ryan Rose is going to do it just in time to get up to third position.
What has happened to Jamie Walker here over the last lap or two? Jamie Walker has lost multiple tenths of a second over Christopher Norris. He is now just under a second from the race lead as we see 2 laps to go remaining.
Everything in the tank being thrown at it, I suppose, for the 88 of Walker as the laps tick down. But let's not forget, 1 week ago, Jamie Walker was in this exact position, coming to the white flag, and he won the race somehow, some way. I don't know what the odds of that happening twice in a row are, but this time it's Christopher Norris in the race lead through 3 and 4 for the penultimate time, looking for that white flag.
This time by 1 lap to go from the Michigan International Speedway and the Patrick Pierce Memorial. 200 out here tonight. Christopher Norris, earlier winner in the All-American Racing League season at Sonoma, looks to pick up the first oval win here and may just be on his way here tonight.
Going to catch up to the rear end of the lap down vehicle, the 45 of Alex Fuller, and get around on the back straightaway. No more cars in sight for the 38 of Christopher Norris. Won earlier this season in Sonoma, and up to this point through the first 8 races, it has been 8 different winners. But for the first time in the All-American Racing League, we have a driver scoring more than 1 win. Christopher Norris with the 2nd career win coming in Michigan in race 9.
Impressive run for Christopher Norris in that number 38. Had damage on a restart and was able to get that 38 Mustang fixed up as he's going to drift it around turns 1 and 2 in a pretty, I would say that's like a 98% controlled slide there. Better than I can do. That's
yeah, no, that was pretty impressive. If you've ever tried to drift in a stock car, it's not very easy. So for the 38 to do that and not wreck it, that actually looked pretty cool. Where the 38 of Christopher Norris gets the job done. Win number 2 on the season. That officially makes Christopher Norris the all-time wins leader here in the All-American Racing League. We're only 9 races in, but hey, it's got to count for something. Padding those stats in the record book. Jamie Walker comes home with another P2. Ryan Rose, after sweeping the stages, finishes in P3. He'll be scoring the most points tonight, more than likely. Is the 78 having a great season so far, and we are going to corral our drivers and see if we can't catch some words with our top finishers.
Impressive run here for the 38 and for our
third place finisher.
Third place finisher. I couldn't see Discord. I wasn't sure who joined, but third place finisher out here tonight. Ryan, Rose, Tom, and Arie up in the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Good evening to you.
Yeah. That was a fun race.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So early through stage 1, we had some big on-track issues, followed by a couple of restart issues. But you find your way around all of those, and you were able to come home third out here tonight. Kind of bring us through how you were able to manage tonight's race.
Yeah, I guess I just waited for all of them to wreck. I mean, I don't know. There was some kind of sketchy racing going out there, so I kind of was just like, all right, I can bide my time and just wait for my tires to kick in and wait for the long run to really kick in, and that way I could have a little bit better of a run. And unfortunately didn't get the strategy right, but yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, you seem to have a pretty good long run speed as you kind of came out of nowhere at the end of stage number 1 and stole the win away from Jamie Walker. And stage number 2, maybe, so you came down the same lap as Christopher Norris to take tires there. What did you need a little bit more as you came up about 2.5 seconds behind the race leader there in stage number 3?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I should have pitted sooner, but I don't know if that would have hurt me in the long run because of my tires. But because I was saving fuel that whole last run, and I had about 5 laps left of fuel at the end of the race, so I probably could have came in a lot sooner than what I did. But yeah, good win to Chris, and yeah, it was a lot of fun racing with Jamie and all of them up there. That was a lot of fun.
Well, you're going to come home third place out here tonight, Ryan. Next 3 races that we got on the schedule, we got Iowa, Kansas, and Bristol. Any of those 3 tracks that you got circled, then we may see the 78 a couple of spots better on the podium.
I mean, I feel like I'm pretty decent everywhere. I really like Kansas. I really like Iowa. It's another short track, and I was pretty good at Richmond, and but I don't know. I don't really have any like particular tracks get like circled until Homestead at the very end of the season. So
Well, that's a good one to have circled because that's going to be one of the races in the championship for. So, Ryan, congratulations on a 3rd place finish out here tonight. We're going to open the floor for you. Anybody you want to say hello to back home watching you take home a podium finish?
yeah, just my mom, my dad, Brett's Electric. They're on the car. Payday Racing. I mean, they've been helping me out a lot recently, and yeah.
All right, Ryan Rose, 3rd place finisher out here tonight as we look to grab 2nd place finisher Jamie Walker.
That's right. I've got our 2nd place finisher, Jamie Walker, in the 88. Jamie, you had probably the most eventful race out of anyone out there on track. You were up and down. You were battling so many different people for the race lead all throughout the night. You end up coming home in P2. What do you think just made the difference at the end there?
Just keeping myself in position throughout the race. I mean, yeah, I was having fun racing just about everybody out there on the track, and as long as I put myself in position, I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, you're continuing to knock out great finish after great finish here in the All-American Racing League. The next 3 tracks that we go to, Kansas, Iowa, Bristol, these are 3 tracks that tend to have a lot of action. How do you feel about those 3? Are there any that you're really looking forward to, any that you're maybe not looking forward to?
Bristol, you can throw that place in a blender. I wouldn't care less, but everything else, I'll do my best.
That's what we like to hear. Well, I tell you what, great point state today. Great job out there battling for the race win, keeping the action entertaining. We'll open up the floor to you, to Jamie, to give any Hayes highs, thank yous, or shoutouts.
First and foremost, of course, you guys up in the booth, and as y'all see, now in the new sponsor and new numbered 88 Mountain Dew Chevrolet. So appreciate those guys coming on board. Everybody involved with the league and anybody out there in chat, thank you.
Absolutely. There we have it. Congrats again, Jamie, on your P2 tonight. And that brings us to the big race winner, who I believe Thomas caught up with.
That I have. Christopher Norris, now the all-time wins leader in the All-American Racing League. Winner at Sonoma earlier in the season. Winner at Michigan out here tonight. Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you, man. I'm kind of surprised and not surprised I got it done here. Michigan in this car has been substantially like a track I know I can do good at. In previous league races, I've done well here, but these guys put up a fight. From early cautions to late race long runs, I knew the tires matter the most, and those last couple runs, I knew what I had to do. So those last 2 runs, I was like, okay, we're putting all that I learned all throughout the race into effect. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
No worries. I was just making sure I could save as much fuel and much tires as I could. I was like clutching and coasting, just make sure I can make as much laps as I could. They're on track, and I was just like easing it into the corners, easing it out, just to make sure I can get that perfect tire wear, and I think it worked.
It did, and I've got 2 specific questions out here for you tonight. So we saw you involved on the restart incident there to begin. It was around stage number 2 where Shane Johnson up on the outside lane. You had a little bit of damage on the front end of that car, but I guess at the end of the night you got it fixed. How much damage did you have fixed, and what kind of challenges did that pose working your way back through the field after that damage?
Yeah, so luckily it wasn't much. That was just a terrible incident, I think, with the 2 and also my teammate Samuel Garcia. it sucks for him to get out of the race. It's just very bad with the tire spinning. He went, I went, and unfortunately, I was the only one that made it out. Yeah, I had about 30 seconds of damage. I think it kind of like center punched my nose a little bit. It wasn't terrible for me to drive, but at the same time, it was just had to get it out, get it fixed. That's what I did. So I got it fixed. I don't think I had much damage at the end. I think they just like popped it, pretty much put a new nose on, like it's Formula One, and topped off on fuel, and I was good to go. So luckily, not much aero damage. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be in the position I am.
I tell you what, the front of that 38 looks pretty good as we watch you do your victory donuts out here tonight on the broadcast. But second thing that I had is that Arie and I we peeped you doing kind of a very unique line in turns 3 and 4 where you would kind of run it all the way down to the apron or perhaps even touching the apron at times. Is that something you had done in practice or maybe you picked up throughout the race?
No, actually, I picked it up from Mark Arthur. He was like right in front of me before that pit stop happened. I don't know if he had a slow stop or speeding, but I was watching him do it in an earlier run and throughout the race, and I was like, oh, that actually worked because one of like my sim racing mentors told me before that if you get straight exits, you're good. So in the final run there, I was just focusing all I could in 3 and 4 to just get a nice clean entry, hug that line like it's Atlanta, well, old Atlanta, not the new one. That's awful. And then just get a nice straight line exit, and it was working perfectly.
Yeah, you made some incredible passes down there. At times I thought, that run that you got on the inside was pretty impressive. That's not a line I've seen before, but I'm certainly going to pay attention to after tonight's race. Well, the driver out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Chris, we're going to open up the floor for you. Anybody you want to thank or say hello to back home watching you take home your second win here in the All-American Racing League?
Thank you. First, want to shout out to the admins for putting this on. You guys for broadcasting this amazing show. My teammates, Nick Crawford, Samuel Garcia, who unfortunately wrecked out. Same with Nick. He had a terrible incident in like the first 10 laps. Joshua Kanata, who finished P4. It was fun racing with him for the lead there. Also, teammates who didn't show up tonight, which would be Dakota Moniz and also Sam Dyer. Shout out to my parents. I don't think they're watching tonight, but they usually support me in these races. Same with my uncle, Nick's wife, because she's the GOAT. And also shout out to cnorsphoto.com. If you need a photographer for any events, motorsports, any kind of sports, reach out to me and I'll gladly help out.
All right, Chris, congratulations on a third place finish and extend our best wishes to Sam and his efforts in the Daytona 24 out here tonight. Chris, congratulations on your second win.
Thank you.
All right, Arie, top 3 finishers out here tonight at the start finish line: Christopher Norris, Jamie Walker, Ryan Rose, podium finishers that we just spoke to.
Absolutely, and I want to give one final shout out to tonight's race sponsor. Thank you, Matthew Pavlik, for sponsoring tonight's event. We're all thinking of Patrick Pierce's family and racing for suicide awareness, suicide prevention. That is just keeping that in mind tonight. I tell you what, that was a pretty good race, all things considered, Tom. I mean, it looked at one point like we were going to be in for a bit of a doozy when we lost about 2/3 of the field in wrecks, but the drivers that were remaining, they put on one hell of a show. They made it a very good battle to the end.
Yes, they most certainly did, as the drivers begin to make their way out of Michigan Speedway out here tonight for race number 9 of 24.
Oh, this is qualifying.
We're going to take a look not at the qualifying results, but the race results out here tonight. Podium finishers that we just spoke to, that is going to be race winner Christopher Norris out of Pennsylvania. Picks up win number 2 in the All-American Racing League. Second place belongs to Jamie Walker in that number 88. The top 3 is rounded out by Ryan Rose. Joshua Kanata comes up just short of a podium with Mark Arthur in the top 5. Stoney Benfield has a strong run out here tonight, good enough for 6th at the checkered flag. Joshua O'Brien has a strong night, picks up some stage points and a solid 7th place finish. The top 10 rounded out by Tanner Marr, Caleb West, and Matthew Pavlik.
In 11th place, it's going to be Jackson West tonight, ahead of Alex Fuller in P12. Brian Troy comes home in 13th, ahead of Nick Crawford, good recovery to P14. 15th is rounded out by Shane Johnson. In 16th, we've got Nolan Mills, ahead of 17th place Samuel Garcia. 18th, Gabriel Ngoli. Rounding out the top 20 is going to be Larry Bell and Zachary Wake.
21st belongs to Aaron Backover in that number 4 TNA Motorsports vehicle out here tonight. Cody Gibson, involved in an early incident, finishes 88 laps down after leading early in tonight's race. And finally, rounding out our field of 23, Chris Carroll brings home the field in that 51.
I tell you what, race 9 was a great one. Really, all of the 9 races up to this point have been pretty exciting. And now we turn our attention to race number 10 on the season. Need to give myself a little refresher as to which one it's going to be next week. That's going to be Kansas, Iowa in 1 week's time on the 24th, Saturday night. Iowa is a good little short track right there that doesn't really race like a short track, Tom, so it should be a fun little challenge.
Iowa has some attitude as drivers will go in there and use multiple lanes. We're going to see high side in turn 1. We're going to see low side in turn 2. And we're going to see some drivers coming together in the middle.
That's right. Well, tell you what, everyone out there watching at home, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Make sure you never miss a broadcast. And we will be here in 1 week's time for Race 10 in the All-American Racing League.